We are joined on Golden Black Live, two friends of the show, but friends in general. That's always a good thing for me. Tom Schott, who folks know along the line, works at Purdue and has been involved with the Joe Tiller chapter since its inception. And of course, long time working in the Purdue Athletic Department, and now works at the university, among other things. Tom, give me your official title, because you're now obviously do a lot of work with the Board of Trustees, but your day job is what?
Director of Executive Communications for the university.
Yeah, and with that, that probably never a dull moment in that group, to say the least. And young Lee has been such a positive influence, not only in the Joe Tiller chapter and his day jobs with Merrill Lynch in downtown Lafayette, and has got young kids he has to manage. Tom and I are past that stage of our lives, which is a good thing, I guess, but nobody better than young Lee to do that. But young, thanks for taking the time today.
Oh, thanks, Alan, for having us, and happy belated birthday.
Yeah, I know.
Nation has to give you a shout out.
Yeah, it is. You get to get every birthday is a good one, and earlier this week, happy to celebrate that. All right, the business at hand today is an interesting one in terms of the memorabilia sale and what Joe Tiller's legacy really is, and some of the things that are being presented. And I'm going to start with you, Tom. Just talk about not only the Tiller chapter, but all that has gone into not only the things that were sold a few years ago, but what's being sold now, but also just, Joe, there was a lot of good feelings about Joe Tiller, obviously because he's a darn good football coach, but also the fact that Arnett and the team came back for their 25th anniversary. Hard to believe, of the Rose Bowl season, but all this spawns some real interest in the great history of the Tiller regime at Purdue.
Yeah, just a quick history lesson. It was Joe who approached Jim Brujic initially about starting the National Football Foundation chapter when Joe was still the head coach, and it originally was just the Northwest Indiana chapter. And,
right.
and I'll boast that it was my idea several years after it was created to name it after Joe, because he was the brainchild behind it, and it meant a lot to him. It meant promoting the sport of amateur football, recognizing young people who play the sport at the high school level. And then also with the ability to get more former Purdue athletes into College Football of Fame. So Jim Brujic, of course, has done and continues to do so much work for that organization. But with Joe's interest in it came interest from Arnett, certainly. And several years ago, before COVID, we had an auction and sale of some of Joe's Purdue football memorabilia. And then in the last couple of months, in anticipation of this reunion you talked about, Arnett made the decision to, after checking with her three kids, to donate some really prized possessions from the Rose Bowl game. And hence the auction that Young has so aptly put together on eBay for us. And all the proceeds from that will go to the chapter. And again, just another great act of generosity by Arnett, and couldn't be more appreciative of what she continues to do. And I will say she was so moved and really appreciated all that Purdue did for the reunion, all the players that came back. She's not one to show a lot of emotion all the time. No. She was generally moved by it all, and had a great weekend. Was fortunate, my wife and I, to host the family at our house, and it was really a special weekend for her, and that made it special for everybody else.
It's been interesting because obviously in Buffalo, Wyoming, where Joe spent his final years prior to his passing in 2017, right? And it's still hard to believe that's been 8 years, and hard to believe he's gone too. But that's another issue. But just the fact that he has been, and the family has been so generous with this, and this is a big part of this. That they really have wanted to keep. Yes, they want to keep the legacy alive, but they also have been generous with and Arnett is an antique person, is a collector, and all those kinds. It kind of fits well together.
Well, I think it also Joe would have wanted Purdue people to have this stuff, to enjoy it, and We could have taken this to a national auction house and that sort of thing. But the thought is, with it being promoted so heavily by the NFF, that this will go to some loyal, loving Purdue fans, Joe Tiller fans, Purdue Rose Bowl fans, whatever. And that's what Joe would have wanted. He would want people to enjoy that. He might laugh at some of the prices people are going to fill out for some of this stuff, but in all seriousness, this was where he would want it to be if his family didn't want it, for sure.
And Young, nobody does eBay. Nobody does this type of work better than you do. And your enthusiasm for Purdue is comes out all the way in spades with this. But talk about, the items that have been on there, and where we put up the eBay address, and we'll also link this as well. But tell us about you've got the ring that you're showing right now, and a little bit of the history. It's pretty amazing where that right now is. What, $18,000 the current asking price. It's been up there for a while, but tell us a little bit about about how this most recent memorabilia sale has progressed.
Sure. In terms of a little bit of history, I found out from super fans and collectors, Chris Pate and Dr. Tony Swinehart, that the bowl games tend to give watches to both teams, and you can see it says Rose Bowl on the watch itself. But what makes the ring special is back in the day, the university itself would give these to the coaches and student athletes. And that's what makes this ring extra special and rare. The story that Chris and Tony told me this week was Coach Tiller had actually rejected the first design and layout because he thought it wasn't special enough. And he wanted this to be a memento for all the players and coaches, something that it would be a keepsake within the family over time. And we even verified with Chris Kessler in downtown Lafayette that this is a mixture of real gold and real diamonds, which makes this ring even more impressive. It would be the equivalent of a Tom Brady New England Patriots Super Bowl, but
which we're seeing every other commercial right now on TV, right? So if you're watching sports and all, What has it surprised you, just the dollar amount on this? And you've been doing this for a while and done this in a number of different venues for not only for the National Football Foundation, but you've helped us out in Gold and Black back in the day from time to time. But we'll talk about that in terms of the value and the folks that have expressed interest in it.
Sure. In terms of the value, I'm not surprised that Boilermakers step up, especially when the money's going to NFF back into the community for scholarships. We're grateful for all the fans that have stepped up. We're hopeful that a few major supporters or super fans can step up in the last 2-3 days and push the bidding up higher. But we thought at a minimum, there's value in the gold and diamonds itself. And that's why we started it at 5, and it's continued to rally close to 18,200 where we are today.
Yeah, it's impressive. Talk about some of the other items that are out there, though, that are on this list. And again, these are his Rose Bowl items from the 2001 Rose Bowl, when Purdue, as the Big Ten champion, represented the Big Ten out against Washington in that day back on January 1st, 2001.
Sure. Another unique piece is this Spare and Crystal Award. Tom, maybe you can jump in and describe, was this given to just Coach Tiller, or was it given to any other staff?
That's my knowledge. It's a one of a kind. I honestly don't know who gave it to Joe, or if it was created as a display piece for the office, but it certainly is a unique piece. And I know that will be probably not as popular as a ring, but probably a close second, because it is so unique and rare to this moment.
It reminds me of the Wade Trophy, Tom, when in the National Championship Women's Trophy. Was it? Was that what it was called? Was that Steph White's?
The Wade Trophy's Player of the Year. But
yeah, right. And then that crystal that I can remember a cover of Gold and Black with Katie Douglas, and the following year we were hauling that thing around and scared to death we were going to drop it. But talk about this one, Young, in terms of that. That's another view of the ring, correct?
Correct. I think in terms of the items, my personal favorite is the Good Guys poster, which I've been able to fortunately have in my office in the corner there. And what's unique about the Good Guys poster is it's signed by Coach Tiller, as well as the captains from Drew's senior season, but it also shows Drew's college autograph, which I think cursive has become a lost art, but you can tell he wrote Drew Brees with pride, if you will. And as he became more famous as an NFL superstar, it became a different version of his autograph. So it's harder to find Drew Brees items as a Purdue student athlete since he was here for 4 years compared to his NFL career, which lasted over 15 years.
Yeah, I think we got to get Golden Black's got to get up. We still have some of his signed stuff because he did for $10. Was it $10 a signature? It wasn't all that much. We hired him before the day of NIL and all that. It was legal because he was done with his eligibility, and he did a couple signings for us. And we kept him because I always thought, gosh, Drew Brees could be president of the United States someday. You know, who knows? And we still have a bunch of our old magazine covers, and in their entirety, with that it is a very valuable thing. We'll talk about Young on eBay where we've got the URL up there as well, which is not the easiest thing for people to, but we'll also put
just search Joe Tiller ring, you'll pop right up. That's how I go to find it every time. So
thank you for clarifying that. That's better than trying to copy down the eBay address. But talk about the eBay page and other and how easy it is really to bid on this, and how once we get to 9:05 p.m. on the 7th, how do you determine, or I assume that that notification goes out and the winners are notified electronically that, by gosh, you're the winner, so to speak, or you're the purchaser. I don't know if winner is always the right term. Depends how you look at it, but still a great cause. But talk about the eBay page, if you would, Young.
Correct. There's about 9 items listed currently. We try to have different price points, the most valuable being the ring, followed by the Baron Crystal Award, which you see next to me, along with the watch here. Yeah. But we also have smaller items. There are some mementos from Arnett, as she attended the bowl game where she received some pendants and pins. Joe also received some rare Rose Bowl pins. There's a sign and the team plaque with the entire roster and scores from the 2000 football season. It's easy to bid on your phone. You have to link your credit card, and by Sunday evening, we should have a final total. We're hoping to raise at least $20,000-$30,000 minimum for the NFF Tiller chapter and scholarship endowment.
Yeah, and Tom, talk about that a little bit, because that is an important thing. These are not scholarships for Purdue student athletes. This is really one thing that's such a redeeming part of this organization that you and I have, and we've all been involved with for a period of time, is that it really does go to students that are not going to necessarily be varsity athletes at the college level, but these scholarships really help out kids that are trying to further their education.
Yeah, it's not just their athletic excellence, but also, as you mentioned, academics and the focus on education, but also their leadership. And in this day and age, being a leader is tougher and tougher. And I've been fortunate to be part of some of the judging committees over the years of looking at the applications, and it's just remarkable what these kids do, combining all three things, and also community service, which is kind of an added part of it. But this is minimal amounts of money that we're able to give out to a handful of student athletes every year to help them out as they go to college. As you say, these are not folks that are getting scholarships or NIL deals. And just a way to promote the game and use football as a mechanism to recognize and reward folks throughout the northern part of the state. It's been a great effort for over 20 years, and this endowment will allow us to do less year-to-year, day-to-day fundraising, which nobody likes to do particularly.
Yeah.
And yet still give out these awards. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it has, and it has been a labor of love from Jim Vrujik and of course Travis Baugh. Now that we've gone ahead of a youth movement. Young, you're included in that too, the youth movement. But, the whole notion that there are people that I don't even know how old Travis would have been about 5 years old, I think, during the Rose Bowl season, and yet it means a lot. And I think that part is an extremely important thing. So again, I can search Joe Tiller Ring. We put the eBay site up there. Again, December 7th, 9:00 is the deadline. We also did a story on our site at goldenblack.com. Tom Dienart did one with the link on there. Just go to goldenblack.com and you can find that link as well. Gentlemen, thanks so much. We are grateful for the work both of you do for this because it's an important thing. And the best thing about it is, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, and I think I can speak for Tom, and probably for Young too, is this is a guy that Joe Tiller was an extremely special person. He made covering college football a fun thing to do, and partly because they also were really successful. But it was a great period of time, and a time that is never to be forgotten in the history of Purdue football. So, gentlemen, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll look forward to maybe a groundswell after this spellbinding interview. I can only imagine we might make 40,000, Young. Who knows?
Thanks very much. Always appreciate your support. And
yeah, we're grateful to do it, and thanks again, gentlemen. And let's hope you guys both have a great holiday season. And again, let's hope we have a big number come Sunday night, a little bit after 9:00.
And thank you, Tom and Alan. I know Tom's son has been recognized as a student athlete honoree by dentist Matt Lancaster. Has been recognized by NFF, and we even have Dan Wadika, who's the head coach at Johns Hopkins now, a local recipient. So this money is going to a great cause and people who are become next generation leaders in football in our community.
Yeah, no question. Some great young men and women that are a part of this from the honorary standpoint. Gentlemen, thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, I want to thank the good folks at WLFI as well, and we appreciate them that and all they do. We want to say too that we'll have our next show will be on after the first of the year. We'll go back to weekly shows for most of the time during Big Ten season. A lot of guests still to come, a lot of people to talk to as we talk on the world of Purdue sports. The folks at WLFI, again, certainly Steve Clark and TJ Horn, Chris Collar, on down the line. We appreciate them, and our sponsors, Triple X on the Hill, but on the level of Purdue tradition since 1929. And then, of course, State Farm agent Trent Johnson, also a great supporter of youth sports in this community, and nobody does it better than Trent. We appreciate them. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. It'll be an exciting basketball weekend. Of course, Purdue and Iowa State tomorrow, and what will be an extremely exciting game between two teams ranked in the top 10. Of course, Purdue ranked number 1. I think Iowa State will come in as ranked number 10. So have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks again for watching Golden Black Live.